The Choctaw people are a people of faith. We believe we're part of a larger plan, and we trust in the wisdom of the past to guide us in the present. Today, that spirit of community and faith endures. Choctaws also value family. The bonds we form in love and kinship are precious to us. When families break bread together or share memories and stories, we strengthen those ties and become happier, healthier people. Finally, we celebrate our culture. We are proud of our history and our heritage. We know our stories and we practice our customs. We shorten the distance between the past and present. The responsibility we have to each other is great, but we are grounded in generations of compassion, kindness, and service to others.
Please stand as we go to the Lord in prayer. We'll be back again. Father in heaven, we come before you now, Lord, thankful, Lord Jesus.
When I became a widow and had to move into a small apartment, I didn't think I would ever live in a house again. I saw them building these houses, so I jumped at it. This is just perfect. There's plenty of room for my entire family to come visit. I just feel proud.
The Housing Authority strives to operate decent and safe sanitary communities for our Choctaw tribal members and to bring the Choctaw culture into a community environment. The Housing Authority offers several different housing programs for our tribal members. We offer independent elder rental homes for tribal members 55 years of age or older. We offer affordable rental homes for tribal families. We offer our LEAP homes, which are a home ownership lease to purchase program. We have a home finance program. We have rehabilitation program, storm shelter program. Our communities are strictly for Choctaw members, so the kids can play on the streets with fellow Choctaws. They can do their Choctaw gatherings if they choose to within the neighborhood.
I just feel very, very blessed and thankful.
How you doing? Good morning. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Our housing department offers a wide variety of programs and services that can help keep your home safe and comfortable with necessary upgrades and repairs. Or we can help you find the right home loan to fit your needs. This year, we have completed several LEAP homes, bringing our total to over 300 across the reservation, and we have plans to build even more. We also built several new independent elder homes this year, bringing our total to over 200 across the reservation, and we have over 300 affordable rental units. The Choctaw Nation continues to grow every day. We have over 200,000 tribal members worldwide now. Unfortunately, COVID
After that, they talks about the poverty point. So my question began, if my grandfather was here, I would be asking him, well, are the poverty point people and the Shapunka people the same people? Because you move from an area, your name shouldn't have to change. You don't lose your identity, you don't lose your roots. So I would say that they write history to make it look like the ancient people dropped in from somewhere and they evacuated out to somewhere. Right now they're talking about aliens. Well, they write about people of ancient time like we are aliens. We are not here, then we are here, then we are there, and then we disappear again. It was time we start researching our own truth. I took what my grandfather said and I began to research it. 35 years of research behind what my grandfather told me, not what someone else said. And what I find is, I find name changes, I find places moving, and the people ain't never left from where they were. And a prime example, to go back to where I was, when I look at my history, it'll look like I moved all around the world and we never left from this spot. is the person who has the pen has the power. And they have written us out, they have written us in, they have altered our race. And there's a lot of things that play a part while we don't understand and recognize black people as the true indigenous people. One reason we're doing it is because we have watched too much television. My grandmother would not have a television in our house when I was growing up. My mom, I didn't live with my mom, I lived with my grandmother, grandfather, my aunt, and uncle. And there was no TV. And my grandmother would call it a one-eyed devil. She said she didn't want something that could be in her house and talk to her, and she couldn't talk back to it. She didn't want something that was going to show us something that we couldn't tell it nothing back. Well, the one-eyed devil, now I understand, because as a child, I really wanted a television. But we didn't get that. I was raised in an Indian village without electricity, without running water, without the television, and we got to listen to the radio. Out of that, I thought in my younger days, well, if we just get that television, I can have some entertainment. Today, at 55 years old, I'm thanking God that we did not have that television, because not having that television gave me my elders. I grew up where they had people 115 years old, 103 years old, in their right mind, still walking, still talking. And that became my entertainment as a young person, and I learned a lot. And I've taken that in the last 35 years to go out and see. Were my people just telling me stories and having me to believe stuff that never exists? Because when I went to school and I told people I was a Choctaw, they was like, well, what is a Choctaw? If I told people I was part of the Shifunkta, well, what is the Shifunkta? Well, to say Choctaw and Shifunkta and someone disown you is like saying, I'm from the United States, and somebody say, well, where's the United States? Because that's what Shifunkta is to us. That's our location, where we living in this region. And for someone to say, what is a Choctaw? Well, that's like saying, who is an African American and who is a Greek and who is a German and who is Irish. So when people are able to take your identity and your land identity away from you, and I see around America now, people are searching to find out where do they belong. But a lot of them leave this land and begin searching in Africa and other places and have not found themselves here. What I hope to do today is drop a few ingredients. I do a talk show, and like I told you, my talk show is Cooking with Chief and Serving Up History. And I tell people that we all have an ingredient in our life. And when we bring it together, we can cook up this wonderful dish. Because the ingredients is really what it is. Salt is salt and pepper is pepper. Garlic is garlic and onion is onion. Well, in our life, we need to find out what's facts. And go out and get these facts and bring them back. And that's what talk shows are allowing us to do. Bring back the ingredients and begin to talk. And by the time everybody throws their piece of the ingredients together, we end up with this dish. Okay? So the dish that I'm hoping we come out of today on the East Coast is getting people to realize a lot of people that's on the East Coast came from the southern states. Okay? And maybe there was a story that someone told them, but they couldn't find evidence on it because it was hidden. But today, with technology, a lot of this stuff that was hidden is coming out. And it's time we go back and start digging. I hear people call themselves Moors. Well, in my research, because I never knew what a Moor was in my life, never heard it in my village, and as I began to speak and do talk shows and stuff, I heard people coming at me with, well, are you a Moor? Are you a Moor? I'm not a Moor. Moor just means black. I am not the Moor that people talk about that comes from the European country and came here like the Portugal people came here to destroy the black Indians that was already here, or should I say the black indigenous. And, you know, that's a highly controversial thing that I'm talking about, but people who classify themselves as Moors need to realize why were and why did the Spanish bring the Moorish people or the black people or the Portugal people to this area. And as you go back to look, it's self-explanatory within their records. They brought them here with them. They were black Europeans seeking the same thing that the white Europeans were seeking, and that was a new land, a new place, and new riches to embark upon. And I couldn't understand how did even Christopher Columbus be declared a discoverer of America when we were here. So my grandfather and I used to talk about it because I got put out of school at a young age because I would not celebrate Columbus Day. And so I got suspended, and my grandfather told me, don't worry about it. Sometimes you have to get knocked down to get back up. He said, so you just got knocked down in the negative, and you can get back up in the positive. He did not discover America. We were already here. So in my adult days, I decided to go back and see, what did Christopher Columbus discover? So what we got to look at, there is a thing called the Christian discovery, or the doctrine of discovery. Are you familiar with that, brother?
Sister,
Okay. Are you familiar
I'm
with
soaking everything in, but I am not familiar with it. But please continue.
Here we go. We are victims of a Christian doctrine called the doctrine of discovery. I'm hoping, and I'm working on writing a book right now as we speak, to go in detail on how these things affected us and still are affecting us today. The doctrine of discovery was done in 1452. And the doctrine of discovery opened the door for, and that came through the Catholic Church or through the Pope, who passed it on to the King of Spain. And that doctrine declared all people of color, dark, or anyone that was not Christians to be classified as inhuman and paganistic. So that was a worldwide law. So underneath that law, what they were able to do is come into places where people already was there indigenous, but not Catholic or not classified Christians, and declare them not being there religiously wise because they were saying they were paganistic or they were heathen. And then they were able to come in with the Christian law and classify discovery. And that's where the word Christopher Columbus discovered America come from. He didn't discover America as no one was here. He discovered the Christianity forces of America by claiming it for the Christians and for Spain, for the king and the queen. And that's where the word discovery get connected to Christopher Columbus' name. Now, underneath that discovery, what he did is, in the beginning, he wrote back to Isabella and says, hey, these people are godly. This is in the 1400s. He get here in the Americas, not this part, but into the islands of Americas in 1492. Okay, but 40 years prior to that, a law was passed called the Christian doctrine of discovery, which right now we have priests who are fighting, well, not priests, excuse that, nuns who are fighting and asking priests and the Pope to help change that. Because that law is still in effect, and it is also a part of the foundation of the Constitution of the United States. That law was said that anyone who were not Catholic Christians, then the discoverers could use them as slaves, kill them, rape them, take their possessions, including their lands and their nations and whatever. Well, by putting that law as a world law, it made not only the Africans in 1452 not classified as humans, but it also made the people in this America not classified. So then when they come in, they saw you, but they didn't see you as a Christian underneath the Catholic Empire, underneath the Pope, the kings, and the queens. So under those type discoveries, we have to start understanding and teaching what they meant by discovery. And some of the people who came in on these discoveries were black, or what we say Moor, because the Spanish called them Moor, which meant black, were some of the black people of the European country who came here with the white European, and they are part of the